Hello students, today we are going to study chapter 8, the Cholas. In our previous class we have studied the Chola administration in that central government and provincial government we have studied. Today we are going to study the local self-government. Here students, the Cholas, they were good administrators and they believed in local self-government. So in most of the villages, the administration was carried out by the villagers themselves. So here the government officers were not in charge of local self-government. So the village was divided into three types. Okay, that is the Ur, the Sabha and Nagaram. So like this, three types the village assembly is divided. And for this we have the sources like there are long inscriptions written on the walls of some of the village temples, so which gives a detailed information about Ur and Sabha, how it was organized. The Ur was the common type of assembly of villages. So the villagers who had land, the people who had land, they were the members of the local assembly. Next comes Sabha. Sabha is the Brahmin assembly of villages. So these Brahmins also they had their own land. Next comes Nagaram. Nagaram was an assembly of merchants and they had a good position also in the village. Okay, the traders and merchants who were in the assembly of merchants, they had good position also. So like this, village assembly was divided. Ur was assembly of villagers, Sabha Brahmin assembly of villagers, Nagaram assembly of merchants. So the villagers who had land were chosen as the vote to councillor. So all the works of the villagers and life of the village, everything was discussed in these councils. So people they were united in the village and all the collection of taxes, settlement disputes, allocation of water, everything was looked after by these committees. And these committees were held in the temples in the Chola kingdom. So the temples were like the center of social activities. Here not only the worship of God was done, whereas the gathering for all kind of social activities were also done in the temple. Some temples they owned huge lands and participated in inland and overseas trades also. Then the lands donated to the temples were called as Devadaya or Devadana. Okay, the lands donated to the temples were known as Devadaya or Devadana. In some cases, instead of giving land to temples, even land revenue of certain villages was given to the temples, and the concerned villagers were instructed to pay land revenue in produce and in gold to the temple treasury. Okay, so like tax type it was given to the temples. So the temples were also biggest employers after the state. So here you can see temples are even providing employment or livelihood to large number of people. Like you can see here, the workers, by providing food, clothing, housing facilities, was also given to the people who were working in the temple. And even education, then hospital facilities was also given by the temple. So all the wealth, the temple, what they were getting, so they were making use like this. The temple was also a center of education. The priests of the temple were the local teachers, and there were no separate schools. So, school was in the temple itself. So, in the temple courtyard, students they were studying. So their lessons were taught in two languages, that was in Sanskrit and Tamil language. The religious teachings was done in Sanskrit because all the Vedic text was written in Sanskrit language. So that's why Sanskrit was taught here. And students they were even learning Tamil language as it was a local language there. So Sanskrit had more influence here. Okay. So Tamil was influenced by Sanskrit. So some of the words are taken from Sanskrit also. Next comes revenue. The revenue of the Chola kingdom. They were getting revenue in the form of taxes on land and the produce of land, and tax on trade. So even parts of the revenue was kept for king, and the rest money was made use for public work, like construction of buildings, of roads, tanks, salaries for officials, on paying for the upkeeping army, building temples. So like this they were making use of the tax, and the tax on land were collected by the officials from the village councils. Next is that Chola art. The Chola rulers, they were great conquerors, as you have studied Raja Raja Chola and Rajendra Chola. You can see that they were great conquerors, and they were good, efficient administrators also. So apart from that, they were loving art and architecture. For that, best examples you can see, like beautiful temples were constructed. Brihadeshwara temple is one of the most important art and architecture, okay, of Chola rulers. Most of the Chola temples were built in the Dravidian style. So Dravidian style means the temples they are constructed like a pyramid shape, that is the towers. And usually the temples are constructed with the help of sandstone, soapstones, granite, etc. And the temples they are not only used for worshipping, but all the social activities are done in the temple. So that is called as Dravidian style. Whereas in North India you can see Nagara style. So Nagara style means a temple's architecture. It is constructed on a stone platform. That is, in the early chapter we have studied of Deodar temple. So that is the best example of Nagara style. So in North India, temples are constructed on stone platform with steps leading towards the upward. Okay, that is Nagara style. So the early Chola temples they were very simple in construction. Later when Cholas they got enormous wealth through tradings and all, they started to construct bigger, more grand temples, and they used full art of making stones and metal images. So it made a great progress under Chola rulers. For that best example, you can see the Nataraja's statue. The Cholas, they excelled in making images of gods and goddesses. The bronze image of Nataraja or Lord Shiva, it is in the form of dancing style, isn't it? So Nataraja is the word taken from the Sanskrit word which means Lord of dance. So here you can see Lord Shiva is in the form of cosmic dancer. So this is an excellent work of art, and the image of Nataraja has been described as the cultural epitome of the Chola period. Okay, so that is, it shows that high degree of culture you can see in this art and architecture here. Okay, so this is Lord Shiva is in the cosmic dancer. Okay, Shiv Tandav. So in that form you can see. So students, I hope today's class is clear to you. So we have completed the chapter now. So everyone read, go through the chapter once again. Okay. Thank you children. Have a nice day.